Hello, this is Life Coach Angelia with part 11 of Works of Heart's Teen Pregnancy Life Coaching Program. Last time we talked about any service and supports that the girl may receive. They can control their own progress. Only they can. So you can't rush them. They work at their own pace. Some are slower, some are faster, you know? And here is a youth coping questionnaire that you can give them and give their family and have them complete it. And they can compare. And this will help them see, because parents don't always understand what their child's going through. They don't always notice every little thing. And they can compare their questionnaires and see, the child can see what the parents think of them, which might not always be a good thing. But then the parents can see what the child thinks and realize if they've made errors about how they perceived what the child thinks. And then they can, have a closer relationship. So this is a good thing. So the first question that you would have on there would be, my greatest strengths. The things about me that I'm most proud of are. And then, the parents will put what they think it's going to be, and then the child will put what they really feel. The second one would be, my family is proud of me when I, and then they would answer that, and the parents would answer what they think it's going to be, and it's kind of like a game show, really, but it's a bonding exercise. Number 3, the best way to give me support when I am doing well is, and again, the parents put what they think it's going to be, and the child puts what it actually is. Number 4, the best way to give me support when I'm angry or upset is, and then the parents what they put down what they think it's going to be, and the child writes down what it actually is. Number 5, the best way to redirect me when I am angry or upset is, and then the parents write down what they think it's going to be, and the child writes down what it actually is. Number 6, the best way for my peers to give me support when I am angry or upset is, and the parents write down what they think it's going to be, and the child write down what it actually is. Number 7, the things that usually get me upset are the following, and the parents write down what they think it's going to be, and the child writes down what it actually is. Number 8, the best ways that I can calm myself down are, and the parents write down what they think it's going to be, and the child writes down what it actually is. Excuse me. Number 9, when I look or act upset, I want my parents to, and then the parents write down what they think it's going to be, and the child writes down what it actually is. Number 10, when I look or act upset, I don't want my parents to, and the parents write down what they think it is, and the kid writes down what it actually is. Number 11, I like to be touched and hugged, and then they have check boxes here. The question is for general support, when I'm starting to get upset, or never. And then the parents will choose what they think it is, and the child puts what actually is. Because sometimes people just don't want to be touched. There are people like that. Number 12, one additional way that I would like to learn to calm myself down is, and the adults write what they think it is, the child writes what it actually is. Okay, and then you can leave a space there for additional comments, and they can say something like, maybe one thing I want to say to my parents is, one thing I want to say to my child is, and then they can read that to each other. And this is a good bonding exercise because you want to have good family relationships. These parents are going to be grandparents in this grandchild's life, and so you want to get along. And this is, a good exercise, kind of open that up. And, because the parents have probably only been thinking of their child as a child up to this point. not as an adult who's going to give birth to another person, and now they're a parent. So, this is a good icebreaker to kind of open that dialogue up. Okay, and now I want to give you some resources that you can check out. Last I checked, these were all still, up and going. But as we know, things change, so if it's changed when you try to find this, I'm sorry, don't come back on me for it. I'm getting ready to retire and I'm just putting this stuff out there. I'm not going to keep current on these things because I'm getting ready to retire. I'm in the process. That's why I'm putting this stuff on YouTube. But here we go. Parents Involved Network of Pennsylvania. Their initials are PIN. Their phone number is 1-800-688-4226. Their website is www.pinofpa.org. So that's pinofpa.org. It's a parent-run statewide network for support, advocacy, information referrals for families of children with emotional and behavioral disorders. They had a newsletter online or mailed free to Pennsylvania residents, spring and fall regional conferences, and local contacts. The next one is CAP, CAP, Client Assistance Program. Their phone number is 888-745-CDLP, equalemployment.org. Advocacy for persons with disabilities needing job training and support. Because sometimes, teen mothers are disabled. ADA information line, 800-514-0301 for voice, or 800-514-0383 for TTY. And their website is ada.gov. Discrimination is against the law. And unfortunately, that also happens. Sometimes, teen mothers are not wanted, people don't want to hire them, because they don't feel like they're reliable. The Hiram G. Andrews Center, 800-762-4211, www.dli.state.pa.us. A technical training institute run by Pennsylvania Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, including partnerships with colleges. Now, in your state and here in Kentucky, we have, offices of vocational rehabilitation. My son went to Voc Rehab, out off Juneau Lane, out there off Shelbyville Road. So you want to look in your local area and find out, where your office is. If you have a mentally disabled teen who needs to find employment, and it helps if you have documentation from the schools, and that's a definite help. The Department of Education, you want to contact your local Department of Education. The Compliance Bureau hotline to report violations of children with disabilities, educational rights by their public school system. Now, unfortunately, I had to do this with my youngest son because his school was definitely violating his rights. They were not going by his IEP. They were, discriminating against him in classroom settings. And so I had to go all the way up to the Fed level to get them to actually listen and back off a little bit. And in that whole process with teachers, counselors, principals, school board representatives from the local, state, and federal agencies, I only got one apology from our local school board from Marty Polio. So thank you and good job to you, Marty Polio, because you actually took the complaint seriously and tried to do something about it. Whereas everyone else was just, who cares, upset parent, who cares, and that's a shame because we're supposed to work together to raise these kids and educate these kids and get them to a point where they are actually functional adults out in society. Okay. Your special education mediation services. If your local school board doesn't have one, your state probably does. So that's who you're going to want to contact if there's some problems. If you have a special ed student who is pregnant or is, has a child and you feel like they're being discriminated against, that's somebody you definitely want to contact. Recovery services. That's something that you're going to want to have as a referral if you're going to be coaching pregnant teens. You definitely want, because let's face it, drugs and alcohol sometimes is involved. So you're going to want recovery services as a referral source to give, brochures or cards to these teenagers. The National Information Center for Children and Youth with Disabilities. Their number is 808-695-0285 for voice and TTY. And their website is nichcy.org. And that's in English and Spanish. So they give excellent phone assistance. They have extensive online resources for transition. Again, colleges. If your student has disabilities and they're a parent and they're going to college, my son went to Western University, who does have, a special outreach for children with disabilities to help them with their studies and to stay on track and things like that. So that's something you would want to look into also if this teen is going to college and they are a teen with disabilities. Okay. And you know what? That is it. That is all for this program. So one thing I just want to, kind of hammer home again is that when you're dealing with pregnant teenagers, you want to play to their strengths, what they're good at. Because especially if their families come down on them for getting pregnant, you're stupid, you ruined your life, whatever, this stuff happens. You want to play to their strengths. Because what we feel competent at and good at, then that's easy for us and where we're going to excel. So you definitely want to play to their strengths. And again, you want to keep an eye on their mental health. And if you notice that's a problem, then you need to have a mental health professional as a referral source so you can refer them and get them the help that they need. Because, you can do all the life coaching in the world, but if their mental health is not at a place where they're capable of listening and learning, which is sometimes the case, unfortunately, then you're not doing them a lot of good. And again, pregnancy should be a joyous time. For teenagers, it's really not so much. So you kind of put a little pep in their day. Give them a little joy, give them a little happiness. You can bring them a flower from your garden or whatever. Just let them know that somebody gives a crap. Somebody cares about them. And parenting adolescents is hard enough, but it's even harder when you're dealing with a pregnant teenager because they've now, done an adult thing. And in their mind, I'm grown. Even though in their mind, they're not grown. If you know what I mean here. So, hope that if you have taken this program all the way through, and you plan on coaching pregnant teenagers, that this was educational and informational for you. And I am going to leave the link so that if you are the mind to, you can certainly leave me a gift to, help me to continue to put these programs out here. It does take up my time, my internet, my electricity, all that stuff. But, I am doing it so that people can, learn what I learned, because it took me a long time to learn this stuff. It was a lot of work to learn this stuff. So I definitely want people to have this information either way. So that's all for now. Until next time.